Hello.
Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to another Saturday night Shadow Whispers in the night. I feel like I'm whispering. Am I whispering?
No,
Am I not? Every time I think I'm talking, when I look back in the lives, I sound like Jenny. Why am I always shouting?
like, slow down.
Why am I
What?
always shouting? I think it's because I came from a large family that if you don't shout, you don't get heard.
Oh my gosh, is that what? Yeah, maybe that. Yeah,
Yeah, so I shout.
loud family.
I shout a lot. I'm
And
trying to share it. Bear with me for a second, and then we are going to get on to about tonight's show. Okay, that one is shared out. Very good, very good. Lovely. Okay,
and Jen, where are you? So, on tonight's show is Jenny from Emerald Isle Paranormal Research.
okay, we're back. Did I
There
did,
you go.
did I go off there?
You did.
Did okay. I need to not touch anything on my computer because it's very temperamental. But you can hear me okay? Yes.
Yeah. I
It's
didn't
not
hear what I didn't hear you while you were out though. All I saw was Jen EIPR.
okay. Okay, right. Okay. So yeah, I was saying tonight is a fantastic show. Tonight it's part two from what we had on the 27th of January, which was with Pam Harris and Steve Workman. Is The Bug's Life Before the Mafia. So the second edition of the book came out, and there's a lot more in it. We have it here in front of us. I cannot touch anything otherwise. We have all of our notes and everything written into the book. It's an interesting read. Questions I didn't have before, I do have it now, and I got a little bit more of an insight into Charles.
The bug.
Right? Yes, the bug. So we are going to bring on Pam Harris and Steve Workman. These are the family and authors of The Bug's Life Before the Mafia. So I'm going to bring them in.
Hey.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Hello.
It's all good evening here. Good afternoon over there. How's everyone today?
Good. How are you?
Good, good, good. No worries, Steve. No worries, Steve. We had a few glitches in tonight, but
Yeah.
but we are here. They are. Hey, Miss Tanya, girl, we need to start organizing our holiday. We are going to go to Scotland, or we're going to the Republic of Ireland, or go somewhere, France or somewhere. But we have to organize the next show. Steve, how are you doing today?
Steve, she said, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. I just had a background malfunction, so
We're having a lot of malfunctions tonight with the internet and the computers. We're having a lot of malfunctions going on. So
Yeah.
Oh, what is that?
doing well. It's nice.
it's good. It's good. The second book is interesting. There's a lot more. There's a lot more in it. There's a lot more in it, and because of the book, I have two new guests on the show in a few weeks.
Okay.
Yes, Michael and Marty will be on in a few weeks.
Oh, really?
Yes, 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 yes. Just because I've read and I've seen it. There was more names in it that I didn't know, and I'm like, oh my gosh, we're going back to the drawing board. Who are these people?
Yeah.
Who are they? And I think I know more about your family than I do of my own now at this stage. I know nothing of mine, not my bloodline, not nothing of mine. Nancy, what about yourself, my love? How are you today?
It's you know what? It's 73 degrees out. The sky is blue, a little windy. So if this all comes down on me, don't panic. It
We won't
pops
laugh.
right back up.
We won't laugh. We won't laugh. I promise. I promise.
It would
So-
no, it would be hysterically funny. It would probably knock me out of my chair, and it'd be pretty funny.
Definitely watch that. So the questions want to start off. Nancy, do you want to start off on anything while I go off ahead?
Oh boy,
Go through my papers here.
Hi, Lori.
the
Lori,
first, reading the book, and very recently because I just finished it like this morning. because I
Wow.
kept going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And I am trying to, okay, I'm trying to reconcile like some of the dates and things like that. But what I want to know is what was behind it. What made you get rolling on this? Was it family history? Was it like, I got to know if it's a relative? What was behind it that started you writing this?
Just really, what was behind it was our dad searched for him his entire life. And so we just accomplished what he tried to do.
So Dad started with genealogy research. He knew his dad had left when he was 6, but he didn't know where he went. He knew who he was. He knew who he became. And so he spent the rest of his life looking for him. So it started with genealogy at the same time looking for his dad. And so genealogy was very, very complete based on our dad's research. And Pam just picked it up and filled in all the spots. And this kind of just presented itself. She found out more and more and more about Charlie. And one of our cousins was looking at her research and encouraged her. He said, you should put this in a book. So that was the essence of the start of it. That's what got us to today.
Yeah.
I loved your
Kudos on the detective work, because that was amazing. That was a lot of that was a lot of digging, and
Where do you start?
Well, a compliment we got in the past was based on the research. Someone said, you brought the receipts.
Yeah.
So in other words, Pam has in her research, she has all the proof of our point of view.
Yeah. I have all the documents.
And I love the letter that your father had written.
Pardon?
I love the letter that your father had written.
Oh, yeah.
I
That's
love
what he wrote us.
And the reason we have that is because he would write a draft and
Right.
think about it, and then write the actual letter.
Mm.
And so that's how, because you think if he sent the letter, then how do you have it? Well, it was in his files as a draft.
Right.
And I have his original writings.
You
So.
did. That's shown. And what you don't have in technology those days to find out and research, where do you start?
Oh.
Needle in a haystack.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't have a whole lot of resources. So, when him and Steve found the Workman family history book, that was ultimate almost.
Yeah.
Because they didn't have internet for research, so.
Enjoy what you're.
And people back then kept copies of letters and such. I've come across Scott's mother's where she started writing letters and wrote like the base, and then
when actually during Dad's research, he found a cousin, and where was he at? Was he in
Oregon, I think.
Oregon. And I have the letters that they wrote to each other back and forth.
And that's just in at the end of it. Hope you keep your family history so you can add to it, thereby keeping this up to date. Hope you enjoy what you are about to read of our family history. Yours truly, Dad.
And we're all bad. None of us have updated our own stuff.
How could you not follow up on that letter? How could you not? It's like leaving his work and just letting it lie dormant and not with it. That what you want to do it now, because now you're intrigued. Now you want to know. And my goodness, there's a lot in it. And I was going like Nancy. I was going back and forth, and I've my pen. Listen, I've my pen here, and I was highlighting everything in the book. And I was like, I'm intrigued with Minnie and Estella.
Oh, Estella.
And how they, and Charles and so on, and there was some stuff that I didn't know that he had part of it as well.
Oh,
of the meeting of them, and I thought, well, Lord Jesus, and I was about to say something And I was about to say something to Kelvin, and I turned to the next page, and it said exactly what I had just said before I turned the page, as in, don't look to fight for your son because he is mafia and he'll make things hard for him. And I said that, and I said, sure, what? I understand as a mother, I understand if you're being kept from your child, you want to fight. You couldn't.
Yeah.
This is Stella. She couldn't. She had to accept what was given to her.
Right. Because, back in those days.
Yeah.
That is under the family stories. And the granddaughter of his first wife told us that story. Hello, Joanne.
How are you?
And the thing to keep in mind is, hi, Sarah. That story is about 100 years old.
Right.
So it was passed down, and we were fortunate enough to experience it live from the granddaughter, who said, "This is a story my grandmother told me directly many times."
Yeah, Bonnie. Yeah, so Bonnie would have been.
It all came together.
Bonnie would be Robert's daughter. Robert, if I'm getting that right.
William.
So his first, we're talking about his first wife, Estella.
Yes.
They got divorced. She got remarried and had offspring. That offspring was told all of these stories, and their grandkids were told all these stories, and that's who we met with.
She actually tried to go back and get him.
Yeah. She actually went to Chicago with him when he was a baby, and came back and said, I can't do this. This is it. I'm not doing that. So that's all. I mean, that's the story. So it's not. We don't know what she said, or we're talking 100 years ago. So
she's the granddaughter. Right. So Bonnie's the granddaughter of Estella.
Yeah.
But then Charlie's parents, Casper and Martha, which are two names that I didn't know of until Michael. And I said to Nancy, now who are these two? Who are these two? So I do know now.
Actual parents.
That's his actual parents.
Yes, yeah.
Because when he goes to New York, he claims different set of parents.
Yes. Yeah, and I know they were looking after the grandson, Robert, who was born in 1918. Estella would visit Robert and give him back. But one day, Casper and Martha would not let Estella see Robert. They said, legally ours. So Charlie never gave up on Robert, and custody granted to Minnie. Charlie's second wife in 1936. The family also shared with us a story that they heard growing up. The grandmother, Estella Green, had tried to get Robert back. They knew nothing about the story of her grandmother, Minnie, Charles' second wife. Taking him as her own child, paperwork documenting Minnie's divorce from Charles shows she was granted custody of 5 children with all 5 names enlisted.
And they wouldn't have thought anything about it because they all had the same last name.
Yes.
They didn't ask if she was the mother of all of them.
Yeah, it was just. It was just.
So Casper and Martha was also in the research of another person's book who we quoted in there. And when he listed Charlie, he listed his parents, he listed his wife, so that's also in the book. Another researcher who did research on the city that Charles initially lived in with his family, documented his parents and everything else.
Oh, okay. That's great.
So, for somebody to get the same things.
Right. And that's where, when Michael came in, this is after divorcing Charles. So when Estella divorced Charles in 1922, he prevented Estella from seeing her son, Robert. This is the part when I said, I know as a woman, fight for your child, but then I said, she couldn't, she had no choice. And then when I turned the page, when she got married to Marion, as a businessman, he advised Stella not to pursue getting her son back from Charlie because he was involved in the mafia and it could cause issues for them in the community for business. And I said that before I even turned the page, and I'm like, I why didn't she? And then I thought, she wouldn't have a leg to stand on.
Yeah.
That's to
Oh, well, the
Not
other
in that
thing
day
is
and
her
age.
her second husband didn't want her to because it might hurt his business.
Yes.
So-
Yeah.
Yeah.
You mess with the business.
Because of the affiliation with the mafia.
Yes.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
so
So she had no choice.
from that point, Estella got remarried, and Robert, the son of Charlie, ended up with Minnie,
Okay.
and then our aunts and uncles.
Mm.
But over the years, he went back and talked to his mom, was friends with his mom, and we
Yeah.
found that out through family stories.
Yeah.
And
Right.
we found
Not
out
gonna find
that
in
he
any
took his
document.
kids. Yeah, and he even took his kids to see her.
Yeah.
So that
So
was a natural progression for
Yeah.
him to just go there and stay there.
And they all knew each other then. They all family
Yeah.
they all knew each other,
they knew each other.
right? And then Estella
Yeah.
went on to Minnie and said, "Hey, Minnie, can you raise Robert for me?" And she did. And you think, and I was thinking as well, would a woman just taking another woman's child to raise because she thought Charles was not going to come back?
Well, we're not so sure that story is factual. That's the story our family had.
Okay.
So-
Right. So
He took his son with him and married Minnie, had 4 more kids, and then he left.
Yes.
And
Okay.
So we don't think Robert's mom ever came to Minnie and said, raise
No.
our son for us.
no.
Because
No.
that's where the different stories came together when we met descendants of Estella. They said,
Yeah.
well, we knew he was raised by Minnie, but we had a different story.
Right.
Of why.
Same
Okay.
outcome, but a different story.
Right.
So
And then how did he meet Minnie then? Does anybody know?
I'm not sure
honestly, I'm not sure.
Okay. Well-
Because another thing that I found out is Minnie was married before at a young age that we didn't know before.
Right, because they
And
said
she
that was
had been
We found
divorced
out a
and
lot of
married
things about
her.
our
second
family.
marriage. Yeah.
Yeah,
didn't
there's
know.
a lot of things that we didn't know, that we found
Yeah.
out.
So then the question would be when they got married, because they were married in December and she had their first child in July. Okay.
Mhm.
Which means either the child was premature or it was not.
Probably not.
Well, she was probably pregnant when she got married.
Well, that's what I'm wondering, if she was
Yeah.
pregnant and I mean, if she was,
Yeah, we can only
beforehand,
assume, but
it
that's
doesn't
what
really
we
matter.
think.
But
Yeah, that's what we
it would
yeah.
explain like just the sudden switch from one family to the next, maybe. But then again, they raised a bunch of kids together, or not raised, because
Right.
when
our
he-
grandmother raised him.
and
But
so have you haven't met any of these people as your grandparents, right? Because it was like, this doesn't exist, basically.
we
Not-
have only met the extended family of Estella.
Right.
We
The
didn't know.
grandchildren.
Yeah, we did not know our grandparents.
Okay.
They were already gone.
Okay.
I didn't know them. What'd you say, Steve?
And so we met the descendants of Estella. And
Yeah,
if you
but-
read the thing I wrote about the author on my part,
Mm-hmm.
when my grandfather died in 66, my older sibling said, that's not your real grandparent. And
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you talking about? No,
Right.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So we never met Charlie.
No.
But his first wife was our grandmother, who remarried, and that's who we recognized as our grandparents.
Hmm. Right.
So
Remember.
then,
So when our grandmother got remarried, that's who our grandfather was.
is that Rollie
Yes.
Yes.
from Minnesota? Yeah, you betcha.
Nah.
Yeah.
Just
Minnesotan.
saying. Yeah, Minnesota. But okay, where was the question I had? Oh, So when Charlie left, he left. William was 5, Henry was 4, Maxine 3, and Dudley was 2 months.
Yes.
I think he was 6. Was he 2 months or 6 months?
Uh,
was
6
very
months,
young.
I think. He was real young. It might have been 2 or 6 months. I think it was 6 months, but he was little, very small.
It was March in 29, and he was born in 29. Well, there was a date here somewhere. I thought I got that off of, but
Yeah,
it's like,
there's
and then Robert was 12, and
yeah,
I mean, seeing it, it was your dad, William, right, was the one who went
Yes.
out and broke the flags on the.
yes.
I'm like, well, and why do you got flags in your car anyway when you're leaving your family? I mean, like,
I mean,
honestly, it was just so odd that it was like, what is
It was
that?
just something that you would do on a regular basis.
yeah,
You know, it was a different time in the
Right.
20s. You know, if you had flags on your car, you always had flags on your car.
yeah. I mean, they were there all the time. It didn't have to be a specific time
Occasion or event.
or
just-
an event.
It was just a
Right.
thing. Like I know we have cars driving around here, and they have an Irish flag hanging on the back window just because. And it's not
Yeah.
St. Patrick's Day or it's not a holiday. They just have it on. You know.
Yeah.
So during all this time, I mean, you got to try to put yourself way back there,
Right.
100 years ago, and we can all come up with a different.
Yeah, and you got to imagine the telephone game on down the years,
Yeah.
and everything that are, you can look at our facts, like dates and such like that. But
Yeah.
to fill in, you're relying on word of mouth. But then again,
Well, I mean, what else would you have? If
there's
they're
other,
not here?
there's other. I mean, there's a lot of cultures that hand down stories that way
Oh,
and
yeah.
take it as that's the way it
Well,
was.
even you all hand stories down to your kids. the
Right.
same way.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
Mine is all fabric. My mother was amazing kids.
oh
Did he
no.
leave to join the mafia, though? Is that what the whole thing was? Because the thought was that he had been running whiskey or running hooch or something and got a taste.
Well,
of it?
we think when his father-in-law told him, and this was a family story that we got from Stella's descendants, told him, you need to go to Chicago for work because in northern Indiana there wasn't any work.
Right.
And we know from someone else's research, he was working as a mechanic garage.
Right,
He was 5 mechanics.
Yeah.
So the story that we got was he went to Chicago to look for work. And so we don't have any arrest records or anything else, but we're assuming he got involved with Al Capone in Chicago and was running liquor and got a taste of the money. And that's when,
Because they didn't have any work. So
But
So
it's
when
one
it's
thing to go off and like, I'm going to support my family. I'm going to go work here for a couple of years or something. But then it's a whole nother
Well,
to go.
honestly, I think it was because at the time that he left our grandmother, I think that it was at a point where he didn't think he could get out, and he didn't want to risk his family. That's my belief. I mean, you can only assume. So
Right. I mean, and I guess if it was me, I would rather go with the
yeah,
like kinder, gentle version, if you will, because why would you,
yeah. So, he did things that someone asked, what would you say to him if you could talk to him? And my question was that I would ask him was, what the fuck were you thinking?
right.
Your whole life.
Right.
All of these bad choices you made all along.
Made him into, well, and how did he become it's such a stretch to go. You kill, like, it's thought that you killed 20 people, and one of them, a couple of them were your friends, where you just went, "That's the job," which
Well,
is
here's the thing. They're not your friends.
Acquaintances.
They're acquaintances. So
I think sitting down having dinner with his family and his child and so on, and then they go for a cigarette break outside and he shoots him.
and then he kills him.
And you can see current videos on the mafia and their relationships. So the whole is more important than any one person.
Oh, and anything was tenuous at
tell
the
you
time.
that-
There was nothing that was
that-
guaranteed.
They kind of, you just know that. And I was watching one recently, a more popular one that said, you know what, I was called into this meeting and I just had this feeling that I'm not going to come out of here. And that was just expected. And
Right.
he found out later on it was set up like that on purpose as a test. We're going to make him think we're going to knock him off just to see how he reacts. And so it's common in that culture, in that environment, to have that. But we ask the same question. How do you go from a mechanic in a small Indiana town to a mafia hitman? That doesn't make any sense. And so someone pointed out, Pam found this fact about his family that we're like, okay, well, that's good information. Not sure what to do with it. But what she found was his dad was a veterinarian.
Wow. Okay.
What, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Somebody pointed out to us a lot of serial killers start with animals.
Well,
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Really, right there.
I work with animals, but I'm a little bit crazy sometimes.
Okay.
I work with animals, but I'm not doing
Right,
that.
but when they get the urge to kill, they start out with small animals. They
start
go
off
dogs.
killing animals, and they're like, hey, I like this.
Yeah.
Right.
And so the theory is, as a veterinarian, all of the livestock and animals and everything his dad serviced, more than likely had to put more than one down. And that may have been his foundation
His
to
fixation.
continue that.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Yeah.
Even not I'm not comparison, but I'm just saying when I watched the movie of Jeffrey Dahmer, he was obsessed with roadkill and he wanted to dissect them and he wanted to pick them up and so on and so on. And you see a lot of people that, and you see in the news and papers and whatnot, you harmed my pup, but I just thought it was a thing, and I'm like, Lord, take the wheel. I will kick you. I will kick your child. Your pup is safe with me. I'll kick your child. I was just sorry, Nancy. I was just reading here. While married to Estella, and living in, I'm going to try and pronounce this because you know the word I'm going to try and say, Churubusco. Charles Workman was involved in bootlegging runs to Michigan. It is believed that this is how he first became involved in the mafia.
Yes.
After divorcing Charles in 1992, he prevented Estella from seeing her son, Robert. But apart from that, so he was involved in bootlegging runs to Michigan. It's believed that this is how he first became involved in the mafia.
So that's where I think my own personal observation is that's my grandmother knew what he was doing before she married him.
Okay.
Because think about it. He was doing it when he was married to Estella, assuming.
Yeah.
He divorces Estella. He meets our grandmother. She had to know right away what he did for a living. That's my own, thought.
Yeah.
And she was a great mom. She was a wonderful mom. She was a great grandmother.
Saying this story supports the fact that Charlie the Bug had family in Indiana before the mafia.
Mm-hmm.
I think, Nancy, you were saying that earlier today.
Yeah, that's what this is all about.
Yeah.
Books and movies and everything have been written about Murder Incorporated and the mafia but
Oh.
no one has ever written about the Bug's life before the mafia.
Before the mafia.
No, the only blurb about him, I think, was, and that was when they did it was in Time, I think they said it was, where they did a blurb on, what do they call him? It wasn't Lucky Luciano. It was one of them. And all he does is mention once in there. He mentions Charlie killed.
That's an article that our dad, in a magazine, our dad found when he was overseas, and it was.
That's actually on the internet too. I found that on the internet too, where it said it was Time.
Right.
When it was a small magazine, it was Time, right? Something like that.
And actually, the FBI is the one that helped us find that, because I think it's the last page of their file. There's a note in here.
In the FBI book.
Life magazine, February 28th of 44. So this is the FBI file that we got from on Charlie, and this is a magazine article about Louis Lepke. And Life magazine at the time was a very large magazine, probably 12 by 14 or 16. And this story was probably 10 pages long.
Oh, is that Life magazine?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. They were
one line mentioned Charlie the Bug killed Dutch Schultz. And so our dad saw that and brought it home and showed it to his mom and said, "Is this my dad?"
Remember, yeah.
And she threw the magazine in the trash and never talked about it.
Yes, yeah, I remember that.
If it wasn't his dad, she could have just said no.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I remember we were talking about that.
There was another magazine called Crime Magazine, but I think they were quoting some of Alan May's work that he
Alan May did a lot of work in the 90s, I think. And like a lot of other people, he reported on Charlie the Bug, and it was all factual, except it didn't mention anything about his life in Indiana.
Right.
So it was everything about him in New York afterwards. I read a lot of Alan May's research and articles. He used to post an article on a regular basis about Murder Incorporated. And he mentioned Charlie the Bug quite often, but he would only say what everyone else has said, what they've been told. Charlie was born on the Lower East Side in New York. He was raped, all these other things. And so our book has receipts to say, no, I don't think he was.
No.
So then my question would be, why would you not just go get a DNA test, right? Like there's other people on the
you have to have, if we're going to have a DNA test.
So nobody would do it?
One of us and one of his offsprings. And so far, all we have is one of us.
Okay, so you don't have Ancestry and there's no response to it that it doesn't say, look at this person, that person.
So consider this. You're part of that other family in New York. Because he did have a son. His son got married and had kids.
Yep.
And you're called up and told this story about his life in Indiana. And he was born in 1898. And you're like, no, he wasn't. He was born in 1908. So you don't know what you're talking about. I've never heard any of these stories. And in essence,
you get one group that's going, hey, that was us. This is us. We're related to him. And the other group goes, what the actual are you talking about? That is not our dad. That is not our grandpa.
Their ending comment was the dates don't line up.
Right.
Because they have a different birthday.
that's what they know. That's what they've always been told.
Right.
How are they going to know any difference? So
Yeah.
Are any of them like
DNA
just
yet.
like they would they, you know, when you give them all the information, they're looking at the information and they're going, well, I guess, you know, we can acquiesce that maybe it's plausible. Are any
You
of
would
them
think
leaning
a
towards
reasonable person would, and that's one of the goals of publishing our book,
Of book is to
especially the second
hopefully.
edition, is that it will get to one of them and they'll go,
Right.
I can
Yeah.
help prove this one way or another.
right?
So here's another thing is they say he was born in 1908. His
Right.
headstone
His
says
big-
1909.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
born in 1898.
Right.
Okay.
So there's multiple different dates out there.
There is. Was it not like a 10-year difference in it?
Yeah.
10 years difference in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He must look really young to go
And-
like he's 31 and he's saying he's 21, you know?
Uh-huh. But he was handsome. They called him Handsome Charlie. So, you know.
And even to the bit
They're like, okay.
Yeah.
stories from the other side, which is I am intrigued about.
Okay.
Michael and Marty Perry. And I was looking up the surname Peoory or Paoory, but they spell it differently. And now I highlighted this saying Michael looked at the portrait and said this was a very calm man. And I was saying to Nancy today, we had a wee chat, and I said, someone who's done so many killings and so on becomes immune to what you're doing, killing someone, to look calm on the inside, to feel calm. Like you've done these killings, like 20 people or more, and he from the portrait, he looks to be a very calm man. And I'm looking at the portrait, and he's smiling in it, and he looks happy in it, or he looks like he's just smiling. He doesn't look like one of the pictures that Nancy you sent me today. I think it was his mugshot picture, but this is a very calm man. And I'm thinking,
But that's a killer, though.
well,
You know? I
that's
mean,
done so many killings and you're very calm. It's because you're so immune to it that you don't feel it anymore.
Well, if you show anything else, you would get caught. So
Give yourself away. Yeah.
yeah.
So you have this front. So I heard a story about police responding to Jeffrey Dahmer's apartment.
Yes,
And he had a young kid there with him.
yes, I know.
And
Yeah.
the kid kept saying, he kidnapped me. And Jeffrey Dahmer was so calm, he convinced the police
that the kid's
Yeah.
hysterical.
that he's just
Yeah.
trying to get his own way.
And he,
So they left.
yeah,
And they believed him because he was so calm about it.
right. I've watched it. I watched it a million times.
Yeah.
And I'm screaming at the TV, and it was disturbing to watch. It was obviously disturbing to watch. And I'm thinking, holy crap, you walked away. You left when you walked away. And, you know,
And can you imagine that? Yeah.
yeah, that was disturbing to watch. It was crazy. But the stories from the other side with Michael and Marty, and they were connecting with, and I've all of these highlighted, even the conversation. And let me go through my notes here. It was great that you met up with them as well. So there's one here. Michael saying, he says, Mum's here as well. Is she not long gone? Over your mum. Steve, you said, no, it's been a while. Michael said 5 years. And Pam, you said, no, 20. So it was someone who died. Michael said, someone that's died 5 years ago is their key name. What's that? And I think it was Laurie. Says Michael saying
Her younger sister. Yeah.
Yeah, our youngest sister.
Youngest sister, and she'd passed away maybe 4.5, 5 years prior. So he was getting your sister.
Well,
Oh my God.
when Michael and Marty does a reading, typically there's a group of people, like, picture in my mind is they're like standing around a microphone,
Yeah.
waiting for their turn.
Yeah.
Typically, it's your closest family. Can be your in-laws, can be your friends, standing on the, but that's who is there. That's who's responding to your presence.
That's it. And I just thought it was like, oh wow, your sister came through. And it says Chuck or Charlie was killed. Charlie was killed. Because they were saying Charlie. Okay, Michael's saying they put the two together, Charlie and killed. Steve was saying Charlie killed many. And then Michael goes, wait, he's the mobster guy.
And see, Michael will channel and just tell you what he's hearing,
Yes.
without looking at putting it all together. And that part right there is where he realized, oh, wait a minute. This is the guy you were telling me about. That's when he puts it together.
It took a minute for that to connect, but yeah.
Yeah, that's when I said, wait, that's the mobster guy. Because he said Chuck and then now saying Charlie. No, he's gone to, this is coming from your dad. And it says your mum's kind of quiet here. That would be Minnie. Your mum's kind of quiet here. And Steve said she's not usually quiet.
Miss Chantel.
Oh, Miss Chantel, my darling. Oh, I love my girl. Yes, if you have read the book, please comment. And even if you haven't read the book, if you have any questions, throw them in. Even he was with Al Capone as well, and that's one of the guys that I do know of is Al Capone. Go online and look up a little bit. If any questions from that, then throw your questions in. But I found the Michael and Marty very interesting with what they were coming through with. I'm looking forward to having them on the show. I do have to email them back yet. Get a date for them. So Pam, you were saying, well, our dad would know. I first of all would say, did Charlie really change his date of birth to be 10 years younger? When you just want to disguise yourself, and change a date. I've done it before, not for myself, but for something else. I've done it before. I have changed a date. Mm-hmm. And Michael was saying, he said,
yes. You're talking about the age of the person and stuff, threw him off.
An age of I can't say it.
Or what they said their age was. Yeah, because when I met my husband, he lied about his age.
Uh-oh.
Really? Did you say he was younger? He said he was younger.
Yeah.
No, it was something that it wasn't a person. It was.
But back then, it was hard to track that because they didn't have the same records we do now. I mean, everything on Ellis Island is all handwritten in. I've seen it for my grandparents and such, and you're going off of that, and you're going off of bits and pieces of what people remember, and it's so hard to know what is actual, what is not, without going to what the FBI says, what the police say, and everything else. And it looked like they tried to get him on. They couldn't get him on murder because nobody was talking. They tried to get him on. Then it was there was a few trumped up charges, and then it was something like, they tried murder, and then tax evasion, and then harboring a fugitive. Is that correct? That they tried all
they were looking for, I think, Lucky Luciano for a long time. Right. And they were starting to get pissed because they couldn't, no one would finger him, say where he was.
So they're like, we're going to put you in jail anyway for something, and they're picking out all this stuff. But I mean,
actually, when they started investigating Murder Inc., they ran into that by accident.
Before they knew about Murder Inc.
Yes, they were investigating something else, and when they found Murder Inc., that's when they went after those people, because they were like, wait a minute, this is much bigger.
Well, and I mean, this is Murder Inc. Okay, make no bones about it. Yeah. He can, say he's misunderstood as you want to, or say he might have been doing this.
Right.
He was in Murder Inc. Okay.
Yes.
He was a big part of that. That is right there is makes me go in the other direction. That and I mean the director from the SAC at the special agent in charge, right, out of New York, is telling the director of the FBI. I mean, he mentions him to be reputed as the worst killer yet,
Yes.
and he is over and over and over throughout. People say it over and over. It's the police, it's the FBI, it's everybody is going, this guy is he is a lot worse than we thought he was. He's he knows a lot of where a lot of skeletons are buried. He knows a lot of stuff, and he's killed a lot of people. And the fact that he was walking around free while they're waiting to indict this person, that person, this person, because he's going to be a witness.
Yeah, they couldn't prove any of those things.
Right, because nobody's talking. Like the maid was mum's the word. Do they know who the woman was that they had her statement that they killed that Danny?
It was, I think, it was Danny's girlfriend. I'm not sure what her name was.
Yeah.
But if you look at all of those mobsters at the time, they knew they did some very terrible things.
Yeah.
But the only evidence they could find are things like tax evasion.
Yes.
They got some of the worst ones on the simplest crime.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't prove the other ones.
Yes. Because they all had each other's backs and they all were afraid to talk. Like, you're afraid to talk. And like I was saying, I was watching a movie a few weeks ago, and it was Irish Italian Mafia. And it's a recent movie. It's not Goodfellas. That's one of my favorites. And I could sit down and write the whole script of Goodfellas. I love it too much. That's the kind of mafia. And I know people, mafia, but if needs must and all of that, it's good to know the mafia, isn't it? I'm just saying. No one's smiling. I'm just saying is how I think. If you need it, coming in, okay? That's just how I think, F around and find out with me.
Well, and they too said when he was growing up there, some of the people are saying that he was a neighborhood bully when he was growing up. But I mean, again, every bit of it's hearsay. And that was some goofy blurb, I think, that was on the
I think
internet.
That could also be connected to with them coming up with stories from Chapter 5, identifying and tracking arrest records. Same thing.
Yeah.
So look at it that way, because
right.
Let me tell you, there's a lot of people with the same name and the same town at the same time.
Right.
Yeah, there's a lot. I remember people saying there's a lot of.
So they could have been talking about another Charlie and not our Charlie.
Yes, yeah.
You mean as far as doing the killings and all the?
No, I'm talking about him growing up being a bully.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Or just a fabricated story to match where he ended up.
Well, I mean, that could have been somebody, and I'll give you that. It could have been somebody in the neighborhood going, "Oh, he's always been a bad kid, and he was a neighborhood bully when he was younger," telling that story, and that story stuck in somebody's head.
Right.
Yeah.
Like you're saying with the other part of the family, how they're stuck on their view of it, and they're not moving from it. But I can't imagine somebody calling me up, telling me that my grandfather was like this person that was a hitman for the freaking mafia.
Okay.
I'd be like,
So keep in mind,
it didn't happen like that.
It didn't happen like that. His family, all of his descendants, knew who he was.
Right.
It was not a surprise. They all knew he served time in prison. They all knew he was
children
Charlie
too?
the Bug.
Huh?
Or Catherine's son?
Yes.
Because I thought, wasn't that the one that Pam called? You were talking to some woman, and she said she had no idea what you were talking about.
Well,
Is that
she
just
didn't
by
know
design?
about him being from Indiana.
Yeah,
But
she didn't know
Yeah.
anything about.
But there was no secret that he was Charlie the Bug,
Mhm.
because his son experienced that, and his son wrote a book, very detailed from his point of view about his life. But again, that was after he went to New York.
Yeah.
So it's not like we were telling them things they didn't know,
Right.
except about his life before the mafia. They're like, no, that can't be him.
Yeah.
But the rest of it, they're like, yeah, that is him.
It would have totally, though, I mean, freaked them out going,
Well,
you got the wrong guy. He was never like married growing up in Indiana. That's kind of lame.
they also said, we've heard it before and the dates don't match.
Okay.
So it's not the first time that they've had somebody call them or heard or whatever. So they're just going by past experience, and what they've been told is the dates don't match, so we don't mess with it. So
when they
and
started,
they don't live in New York anymore. They all live in Florida.
The ones that are alive, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
when they started going through everything, though, did they?
I don't know that they've went through everything. They
Like,
haven't, as
Was
far
there
as I
anybody
know.
who did any reporting on it that you saw? Any other articles besides? Not a thing, huh?
Nothing.
But see, there's nothing. That's what's unique about the story. There's nothing that makes the link to Indiana like we have. You're not
Right.
gonna find
They
it in
don't know
papers.
anything.
You're
Yeah.
not going to find it in any government records.
No.
Okay. Because I know, Pam, you went to meet a lovely lady, Mrs. A. And I read up about her, and she was lovely, and she did things herself, and unfortunately, some of the records were destroyed from a fire that was there. It was Frederick's funeral home in Flushing in Queens. And so a lovely lady, Mrs. A, her name was changed to protect her identity. But she, off her own back, off her own merit, decided to help. And she went to the headstone. She went to the grave.
Yes.
And then she got so intrigued that she wanted to do her own homework on it. But then somehow connection that you couldn't connect with her.
Yeah, I haven't been able to reconnect with her. I don't know. But she said that her family was also in the mafia.
Wow.
And part of some kind of mafia thing. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it. She's never answered my phone calls,
Right.
my voicemails. I really don't know. And the other thing is after reading what she could find out about him, she may not want to know anything. I don't know.
Right.
The less you know, the better sometimes. That's intriguing that if her family was part of, she had mafia in her family, then it's understandable why she just kind of like went silent and didn't.
And it could be that, she has done her own research or, whatever.
She sent you the pictures of the headstones of the graves. And
yeah, she actually went and cleaned the headstone, pulled the weeds and everything so I could see it. She FaceTimed me on the phone. And then she sent me pictures.
The pictures are here.
And so, all this time I'm like, because when you go to search a grave, you should be able to find anyone. If you have their name and date of birth or
it's not
the
that
day
easy.
that they died, you don't even need their date of birth, honestly. So, or if you have some family member that they're connected to.
Yes.
Well, in his case, if you notice the headstones under his wife's maiden name first.
Yep.
Yeah.
I would have never thought to ask for her maiden name.
Okay.
I would have never thought.
His wife in New York,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this on the headstone here?
And so
yes, please.
When I gave her Charlie's wife's name in New York, then she found it. But someone else I had talked to before her did not want anything to do with helping me.
Right. I did see that she kind of closed that down
Yeah.
very quickly, and it was kind of.
They don't have any actual records because of the fire.
Yes.
So what little bit they have left in the computer is how I got it.
Yes. Yeah. And that's what she said. If anything's on the computer database that was put into it after the fire, then you'll get those.
Yeah. She actually worked for the funeral home and not the cemetery.
Yeah.
She worked for the funeral home. She went to the cemetery. And she tried so hard. She's like, there's got to be an obituary or something. And there is none.
Do you think because of her experience with the mafia that she did this out of, if she didn't have experience in the mafia, do you think she would have done it because she was intrigued in it, or she did it because she knows the lifestyle? She knows.
I think she was just intrigued because my family story matched some of hers.
Right.
Because she was her family went through a lot of stuff.
She knows how it goes. She knows the secrecy and the importance.
And like many others, she only knew what was passed down to her in the story.
Right. Yeah.
So,
we want to know who Mrs.
Yeah, she may know stuff that, or bring up stuff that going, oh, I know what that is, and trying to help you out a little bit and going.
And also, you got to remember that when you work for a funeral home, anything like that, you have more access to more information about people.
Right.
Yes.
You have a lot more than what the internet or Ancestry or any of that can give you.
Yeah.
I mean, so.
Yes, baby. Yes, thank you. It's intriguing. And look, the other lady, she just cut it down straight away. Like she didn't know anything about the mafia and she didn't want anything to do with it because she was afraid. And that's understandable. We get that. That's understandable. There's one part here. Oh, and I'm looking at the pictures.
What do you think about the colored pictures, y'all?
Sorry, say that again.
What did you think about the colored pictures?
I love the car.
I know.
I love the car. I've always said I love that car.
Oh, the color, like the color on the picture that they took of him?
Yeah.
Well, in the first edition, everything was in black and white.
Yeah.
Right.
The second edition, we're able to go with color.
Yeah. And it's nice. It's lovely, crystal clean and clear. There's one thing here what I found. Brett, while we have found no evidence to confirm, saying the story supports that the fact that Charlie the Bug had family in Indiana before the mafia. While we have found no evidence to confirm this next piece of information, Estella also suggested that these bootlegging runs were at the direction of the well-known mafia figure Al Capone.
And that was part of the family story from Estella's descendants that we hadn't heard before.
Right. That, like Al Capone was operating out of Chicago at the time. Hi, son of the naked big bud. Hope you're well. I haven't seen you in ages.
Son of a.
In a hot minute.
But
so Al Capone was operating out of Chicago at the time. Marsha also told us that Charles Workman had left Indiana. His son Robert visited his mother Estella on a regular basis. His children had also came with him to visit her, which was lovely because then they all kind of from the childhood and the family and the connections that they all got together and talked about their dad.
Yeah, there's actually that side of the family, Estella's grandchildren and family.
Yeah.
There's actually a Facebook page just for Charlie Workman. And they post all of their family pictures on there. There's pictures on there of Estella as an elder,
Really?
Hi, Sean. So it's really interesting. They are very detailed about their research. They have huge detail about their family history.
I'd love to see that. That's on Facebook.
It's amazing. You just have to look at the Facebook page. It's all on there. There's pictures, there's dates, there's records. She has really done an awesome job.
That's funny, is it?
Yeah.
Funny.
And she had done that way before we met her.
See, the interest in there is bloody crazy, isn't it? That's Estella's granddaughter.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. My gosh, there's so much more. And even like Nancy, do you have the FBI records? Did you write a few notes down on the FBI? Because I was doing more of the family. I want to know about Minnie and Estella. Did you write down at the FBI? Because there's one down here, the conclusions, closing arguments.
Well, and I come from, like, my dad was a private investigator. I had a great uncle, yeah, that was stationed at Fort Snelling. There's like law enforcement in our background a little bit, and I'm more like, the guy killed 20 people. Is it because it's family you want to claim, or that you want to validate that we are part of a bigger family, or
For us, it is mainly for our dad.
okay.
This was his life
100
Okay.
long, 100%. Yeah.
So
Yep.
So, what was your question, Nancy?
It was, I was wondering deep down, like, what is basically what was the biggest driver, which is, and I was kind of hoping, because it was your dad's search net, because it's it's Harley the Bug kind of thing, it's
Okay,
more like
so
it was your dad's dream.
Honest, I
Yeah.
have two parts. Like what Pam said, it was for our dad. He tried
Yeah.
for his entire life
mhm.
and came so close, but never quite
Yeah.
got it. The other point I want to make is, if he was looking for his dad and his dad was a librarian,
Right.
would you buy that book? No.
No.
Nobody
I don't.
You know, it's like, okay, it's a family
Depends
search.
on my interest in
The
libraries, but probably
librarian
not.
that nobody could find. So
You went, okay, it's a cool subject matter. We can write a book on this, and so it's basically, you kill two birds with one stone. You go, we can
You
find
know
out
what?
about our family, and we can
our,
find out
our
about
whole
this.
motivation going forward
Mm.
is all about finishing what our dad started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To answer the other part, that's all there is, because
That's
this book cost us money. We will
Right.
never
Yeah.
make money
we
from
will
it.
never make money off of it.
But the honest point I want to make is, who would buy a book about a lost librarian? It's a more interesting story because it is.
No offense to librarians out there.
Can I read out the letter that your dad had written to you?
You're offended.
Oh, no. Can I read out the letter that your dad had written to you?
Yeah.
And what made us go forward?
Right.
We have this is in the letter from your dad. We have put together this history to show where you come from and who you are, so that you can be proud of your name, which you should be after reading some of these things. I have copied from the book published in 1962, Workman Family History. Reading this book, I find that over half of it is about our family in some way or another. You cannot buy this book anymore. So if you find it in a book sale or garage sale, you must buy it. I'm only copying the parts that show our direct connection period to the person I have been searching for, and the beginning parts that are filling in as we go along this journey of family research period. I hope you keep your family history so you can add to it, thereby keeping this up to date. Hope you enjoy what you are about to read of our family history. Yours truly, Dad.
Mhm.
Who does that want to copy? Follow up on that.
And they found 2 books and bought them both.
Oh,
That's
you
the only 2 books out there. You can't get another one.
It's
You
not
can't get that book.
not crazy what your dad had written in the. If you find this book, buy it immediately, and you have it. Go on. Just me now in Ireland. Go on.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. I mean, you did your dad proud.
Yeah.
You did your dad proud by doing that.
And let me just add something. For many years, I did not think that this was his dad.
Right. Yeah.
I did not. I did not.
Why did you think that?
Well, I was trying to compare pictures from young to old, and you can't really do that. because profile is different.
Yeah.
Everything's different. So for a long time, you know, I was like, there just is no way, you know.
Right.
But I never told my dad that. But so when I started the research myself, that's when it sunk in. You know, this really is him. And it doesn't have anything to do with a picture that I thought was him or, you know, or I thought was Robert or, you know, it is facts.
Wow.
And is that your dad's search? That was his. He just wanted to find his dad.
Yeah.
That's it. Period.
Yeah.
End of story. Just
That's
wanted to find.
great.
Didn't matter who he was. Didn't matter if he was a mechanic or a rocket technician or a rocket scientist, anything like that.
But at the same time, he was very grateful for Raleigh because,
right.
you know, so
The Minnesotan.
yeah, the Minnesota.
Minnesotan. It's not just crazy, the work and who he is and who he's related. And it's a little bit of a, you have got to, do you ever sit down for a second and dissect it?
Well, that's what you really have to do when you're doing this is you really have to dissect it. You have to, you know, like
pros and cons and everything. I mean, you can see that in the book at the end where you're addressing all the questions, which if you get a chance to read it, don't jump to the end right away. But at the end of it, it is like questions and they address them. Each question that other people had or substantiate this, substantiate that. And they are addressed in the back of the book. Not all the answers are in the back of the book. But some of them are.
Don't be skipping it. You will lose it. If you skip it, you will lose it. I'm even going through the identifying and tracking arrest records. It's a lot of
that's where a lot of that's where I really got caught up is like, I just could not believe there was that many people with, I mean, there's more. I mean, I just took a couple. So, you know.
Well, and his arrest record will show where he was and when he was there and why would he be in that town or that area if he was not.
The only thing is with arrest records, there's nothing before that.
Right.
Okay.
Nothing. Now, on these other people, there are records before those.
Okay.
So that's how I can decipher because I also, genealogy would give me the other people's parents' names, their date of birth, where they lived at, where they went to prison. And trust me, there was a lot of them with the same name that went to prison in a different state.
Yes.
So, you know.
A lot of them did when it all came crashing down.
And so you really have to, you know, section it out. Okay, this one belongs here and, you know.
William, meeting a man in Minnesota, that's the oddest thing. But then again, Minnesota had St. Paul, which was a safe haven for gangsters. They, as long as they did not commit a crime within city limits, they were allowed to run free no matter what. Nobody was able to hunt them down. Nobody was allowed to go after them. They were all protected. They could just survive in St. Paul or the surrounding communities. Ma Barker had a place down the road here. White Bear Lake was a big area for gangsters to hang out.
Again, it was a different time. In the 1920s and 30s, it was a whole different cultural environment, economic environment, all of that.
Right. Yeah, I'm looking at this. The bulletin system was largely replaced and fell out with the common use around 1902 and 1905 as fingerprinting became the preferred method. Will and William West had nearly identical bulletin, that's right, measurements. However, fingerprinting was more effective identification method by the 1902. It completely surpassed the older system. So the bulletin, am I saying it right? The Bertillon? I don't know if I'm saying that right or not. That was the kind of measurement of the body.
Yeah, they would measure like from your elbow to the tip of your finger. they would, have all these different measurements, and they found that it's very unlikely that two people would have all the same measurements.
Right.
So they went on that until I think someone was going into prison, and they're like, wait a minute,
Yeah.
this guy has the same measurements as someone.
As somebody else.
Will and William, and they have the same name and the same measurements, right? Will and
Imagine the filing for that. Like you'd have like, okay, all the guys with like this long of an elbow to finger, plus have this to this, like cross file.
And then one guy might have two blue eyes and another guy might have a brown and a blue. So, or something, I mean, so they're like, wait a minute. So they had to get rid of that.
Can you imagine the person that finally figured out that there are no two fingerprints alike and went, shut up.
Yeah. And keep in mind, a lot of times those fingerprints were not good enough to use.
Right.
So remember that, because a lot of them did not have fingerprints, and they didn't have any mug shots, and so
no scans,
there's no proof on these records. Yeah, there's no proof of
not only that, people they arrested, they said, "What's your name?" They just wrote down what they said.
Right.
Yeah, you got to remember that too, because back in those days they would just write it down.
Right? Yeah. And there were 4 false charges against Charles Workman. 4 false charges.
4 false Charlies.
Sorry? 4
false Charlies.
4 Charlies.
4 Charles Workman that weren't
Charlie.
That was not our Charlie.
3 and 4. Date of birth is June the 25th, 1909, New York. Middle name, Edward Single. Occupation, laborer. Moved to Washington State. Committed to Washington State Penitentiary. June 21st, 1946, to serve a sentence of 15 years for burglary. Wow. Information taken from Who is in the Washington State Penitentiary. Report of movement of the prison population June 1946, passed away in 1951. So there's 4 and more Charles Workman.
And so that's our point, is that when people say, oh, no, it couldn't be him, we found instances, these arrest records that he was credited with very credibly could not be him.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So the FBI noted the same thing and put them on a sheet of paper, and both were signed by the director of the FBI.
Well, and they were trying to mislead the police force anyway, so that they would get all the busts, all the everything. They were not cooperating in any way, shape, or form. My favorite picture out of that book, though, is where to go?
Is what?
This one right there.
Yeah, that's a great picture.
Yeah.
What number is that on?
That is Dudley, Grover,
What's
William,
the number of the page?
Minnie, Rollie, Maxine, Bernadette, wife of Dudley, Betty, wife of William. So
that's our mom.
And if you want to really see the picture with the description under it,
Jen, that's on page 106.
106. Thank you, Steve. 106.
Oh, sorry.
So I really thought that the table of contents would have really helped you, Nancy, because you had talked about that, about the first book. And when Steve did that table of contents, I said, Nancy's going to love it.
Yeah, she did.
I'm not going to, nope. I was like, don't comment on the table of contents.
It's
not going to be a thing.
Oh.
It's, let's see, what was I looking for in here? It is, I like the back of, I just like the back of the book, because I'm like, okay, well okay, I'll give you that. And so if I can, you say in closing you want to share your goals in writing the book, and that is to contact family, right? And at the end of it, so people listening, to connect with the descendants of Robert Workman, And his son, Robert Workman, so 1917, 1949, 1939 to 2001. And then to connect with other descendants of Charles Workman and his son, Chuck Workman. So you're just going down to the mothers and going this group and that group, right? Basically, is because it's Estelle and then it's or with Chuck, no, it would be Estelle and with Catherine's children too,
If
right?
they're
Yeah.
related to Charlie, if they're direct descendants of Charlie, and the
Yeah.
whole point is
Right.
their DNA would verify with our DNA
Yeah.
that we both have
Right.
the same grandparent or whatever
Yes.
it might be.
So people get on Ancestry, do your DNA, put it out there, quit worrying about government conspiracies, and just throw it.
I
on
did
out
that
there.
one time.
Mine is out there. Mine's out
I did
there.
it one
Definitely.
time, and I want to do
Most
more
definitely.
of it. But I did it one time, and one of my great aunts was in prison for 24 hours for. Was in prison for 24 hours for drunk and disorderly.
And that's who you take after.
That's funny. No, it's not.
And
but,
you
you
look
know.
at the look of shock and awe on my face.
I'm wondering if anyone in the audience who's read the book has any questions.
Yes,
Yeah, let's see.
we will definitely put the link up. The link has been put up. We put it up again. And listen, this is our second time doing the show. And I will say, not all questions are answered. We didn't get all of the book through tonight. We probably will do a third show because I want to talk about the rests and whatnot. A few other little things in it that I want to. So we did the family and we did who he was. But the middle bit with the FBI, I want to get into that and the Al Capone as well because I probably end up watching Goodfellas tonight now.
Yeah, the Al Capone is just speculation. There's no proof to it.
Okay.
But, you know,
It's a family story.
it's
Yeah.
a story.
Bella's side.
Yes.
Yeah.
But, there's always a grain of truth to even a fable.
Right.
I mean, if he's in that circle, and he is in that circle, he was in that circle, and Al Capone is one of the big guys.
But it was the Hoover administration. You got to wonder how much of that stuff was, they knew about and they just went, yeah, so-and-so is involved in that. Do not touch that right now. And, there was so much going on back then that there was just, you never knew whose hands were in the cookie jar. And half of it was law enforcement back then.
Absolutely.
Well, it was a little bit
Like,
of everybody
St.
that
Paul
was
is
in
a prime
business.
example,
Yeah,
but,
it was everybody actually.
The police in St. Paul was getting so paid off, it was ridiculous. They're not guilt free.
No, I mean,
FBI.
did they get the
police.
FBI? Did they get the VIP treatment in prison? Like some would, because you get,
I think somebody said something about that, didn't they, Steve?
I think Lucky Luciano.
Yeah.
He may, and then who was the other one that I was reading? Oh, I can't remember. Dillinger? No, he.
Someone said something
can't
that
think of
Charlie
it.
wasn't.
Interviews I've read before about the what's the head of the prison, the
warden.
warden.
The
warden.
Warden's comments was,
Yeah.
I wish I had more prisoners like Charlie.
Yeah.
Right, because he was a mellow, but he did it while he was in prison. He offered to be
Right.
a
Yeah.
kamikaze
Yeah.
pilot.
But
Against
he was
Japan.
always known as a very nice dresser. And in
Yes.
prison, his prison uniforms were always pressed.
Yeah.
Amazing how that happened. So he kind of maintained that.
Yeah. He still maintained it, I think,
Yeah.
to some
They
extent.
do, and they get the food
Yeah.
brought in. And maybe it's just I'm taking it from a movie that I watched, but and looking up history of the mafia and so on, they have connections, and the police are in it with them, because there's money backhanded, there's envelopes being slipped in, and so on. We know that. That's
Yeah.
we know
If
it.
New York wasn't so lazy, I've tried to get prison records, but they're way too lazy and they won't do
Wow.
anything.
Crazy.
No offense, New York.
We love it. Hallelujah. I want to go so bad. But all the food has been taken in, the pastrami and the bread, and they cook their own food, and they don't eat prison food. They're certainly not going to eat prison food. They have their own cooking facilities, and you know, it's just like life behind bars. Do your time, but you still live the same life, just not as luxury, but not like the other prisoners.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Yeah,
him
you're
and his family have all been, you know, well taken care of, and
Yeah.
I'm glad. I'm happy for them all. And I would just like to hear from someone and say, let's do a DNA and settle it for final. But no matter what, this is our story, and I believe it.
Yeah, that would be so good to have that letter from your dad, to get all of these family records, and everything is matching together. The DNA,
Yeah.
DNA would be just the icing on the cake. But so far, everything
Yep.
is coming up to your records and your dad's records and your records and your family records as well. It's interesting.
Yeah, if you get a DNA hit sometime, you got to tell us and get.
I will,
You'll never
if it
guess
ever
what
happens.
you know, you would think law of averages are because if you pay enough, they will tell you every DNA hit that you get on Ancestry, you know, and they'll give you a lot more little inklings of. But then again, if you've got a very secretive bunch,
That may not happen.
you're not going to find them in Ancestry.
They probably
Yeah.
won't. But it's so interesting.
Yeah, who knows that they could tie them to if they had their DNA,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it's so. I have so much more. Like, I have read a lot of the book, but there's more. You have to read it over again. I couldn't tell you about my family. I couldn't tell you anything.
Well, don't try to read it all at once.
No, taken into bits. The ones that I was intrigued with, the one that I could soak in, is the from the other side, and Estella and Minnie were the two that I was very interested in. These two ladies as well.
And that Minnie had to be a force, man, to have all those kids and a baby in her arms and then take on another one. And she didn't marry Rollie until technically she was still married to Charlie when Charlie got married again, which makes him a bigamist.
Yeah.
You know, just say.
But at least she got the divorce before she got remarried. So.
She did, yeah.
Right.
So,
right,
which
yeah,
makes
did,
him
yeah,
and Catherine's marriage null and void.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Lord. That's what you were saying.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, like, I was thinking to myself, they're not really married then. They're not married.
Not really. Well, legally you cannot, but you have to go back and prove this was the case and everything. And so I'm impressed with Minnie because of the fact that she just
I know
took the kids and went and I'd be interested to find out more about her life too, because of what she did and how she. I mean, back then it could not have been easy. I know even back in the 60s when a woman was without a husband and had children, it was like you were a pariah because women keep watch your husbands because they're in danger. Thing. It was a stigma that hung over you.
Yeah.
And I know this because it happened to my husband's mother when his dad died when when he was 2. She lost all her friends because they were all couples friends, like couples, and she was not invited to anything anymore. I mean,
well,
back then they were harsh times, so that's why I'm kind of curious as to how she met Rollie.
Yeah,
sort of.
I'm reading the
Well, I have to go.
I know. I was going to say that we're going to end the show. I know you have to go. I'd love to do this again and catch up on the third part of it, which is the letters that I want to read and the FBI's as well. Now, I think I've done most of that, but I want to get more time to do the FBI's. And it'll only be like an hour show just to go through that last section of the book.
Yeah.
The last section, because we have Minnie and Estella, we have Robert, we have the children as well. But I want to go with the people that he worked with and the letters and the FBI's. That's the third part of it that I want to finalize that to the very end. I really want to do that one because I want to sit down and write it down even better. Hey, Adam, we're just finishing, my darling. We're just finishing. Adam, it was a great show. Go back and watch it. Buy the book if you haven't bought the book. Right?
Yeah, you got to buy the book.
It is the second edition. Don't go the first one. You can't get the first one anymore. This is the second one. This is the one that you need to read. I will put the link up on Emerald Isle page and YouTube page on TikTok, and I'll put it up on the Shadow Whispers in the Night page. Seriously, get it. You're watching two descendants of.
Well, thank you so much for everything that both of you have done today.
Thank you.
We really appreciate it.
It was
And if you buy the book, please leave a review.
do. We have to leave
a review. Please leave your reviews.
Definitely leave a review. I will put the link up now for you after the show.
Okay.
So have a safe drive, Pam.
Thank you.
Have a safe drive. Steve, I will arrange a date another time for another date. I'm going to break the background. Steve, thank you so much for being here with us as well tonight.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, listen, it's always a pleasure. It's always a pleasure. Thank you so much for being my co-host. Always, and everyone who liked, commented, share it out. I'm going to send up the link, and I want to see those sales going up because put those sales up. Read the book. It's so interesting. It's real, not fiction. It's so interesting. Definitely get it. Gonna bring us in.
Bye, Steve. Bye, Nancy.
Talk to y'all later.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, darling. Was not fabulous. We're still here. We're just going to say goodbye to everyone. Steve, you want to stay in the background for a few minutes? We can have a little chat in the background afterwards. But it was a great show. I don't think I have a show next week. I'm waiting for my guest to get back to me. On the 27th, we do have Bishop James Long. We're going to be talking about the artifacts that he has. This will be his third time coming on the show. We have became, from guest to friend. So it's fantastic. He's a fantastic guy. So we have, he will be showing, thank you so much, Adam. Thank you so much. We will be Bishop James Long will be showing artifacts of his haunted collection that was sent into him. But these are ones that has never been shown before. June. Really looking forward to that one. And I do have other guests lined up that will be put up in the next few weeks and months. But there you go. Stay in the background there. We're going to end the show up. We shall talk to you later.
Bye. Ow.
Did you bang your hand?